Hello guys, how's it going? This is Alex here. So I know many of you have been messaging me on Telegram asking me when I'm going to release the BTMM Sniper EA. So it's ready to be released. So if you're interested in getting this EA, I am selling it. So if you're interested in getting it, message me on Telegram using the link in the description below to get access to this EA. All right, so I'll talk about the settings of the EA so that you know how to use it. So when you first attach it to your chart, these are the settings that you're going to see. Okay. So the first one is the box start time and box end time. That's the start and end time for the blue box. Don't change that. Just leave that alone. Okay. For the wait till legs time, that basically is the entry of the MRW and is just specifying how long typically you should wait to enter. So when you're inside your MT4, see if I'm scrolling to the right, you see at the bottom here that the time is suggesting. So 18, which is the default setting, is just right about here in New York time. So if you know during New York there's no trade opportunity, then it doesn't take any trade if it passes that 18 time on the broker side. So that's the broker time, not your local time. Okay. So that's what it just means that you know, let's say like you only wanted to take London trades, then you would adjust that to like 13, right? So which would only look for opportunities 13 or 14, which would only look for opportunities in London. But if you wanted to go all the way to New York, then you can just leave it at the default, which is 1800. Okay. So let me go back to the settings. All right. So now we get into the fun stuff. So PF low, PF high, none, and auto. So PF low is the manual setting of the EA to take buys. Okay, so let's say that you're looking at the trend and you see that maybe the trend is in an upward trend and you're looking to only take buys. You can set this to PF low here, or you can adjust it by also clicking here to set it to PF low. Okay, so for example, PF low, if I click it here, it's only going to take W's. Okay, so it's not going to take any M's. If I set it to PF low, it'll only take W's, and these are confirmed W entries. Okay, so if all of this stuff is going over your head, you need to learn the market maker method first, right? Before you know, get in the script, you need to understand how the market maker method works. Okay. Um, yeah, so if you click on PF high, then you're saying take only M's. Okay, so maybe you see the trend, you know, going down like here. Sorry, let me click here. Like here, you see the trend going downwards. You're saying only take these confirmed M entries. And when I go into the strategy tester, I'll show you what I mean. So PF none means don't take any M's or W's, and then PF auto is where this peak determination comes from. So if you see this red line going down and this green line going up, it's just saying that there is a new reversal in the trend, right? So it's measuring ADR, average daily range, all the way down and measuring it all the way up based on the specifications in the EA to then decide if it's a new trend. Okay, so if I open that here just to talk about that, that particular setting is at the bottom here. It just says how many days to look back. Just leave it alone for 20 to 25. That's fine. Use V shape. See here, you see it. It's like a V shape, right? So it just means that it pulled away from this peak, right? So it pulled away from this peak at least one times ADR, right? So it dropped at least three times ADR and it pulled away from the peak at least one times ADR to confirm that this is a reversal in this peak and the trend is likely to be going upwards. Okay. So if I scroll down, see, so this is the one times ADR shift. And this is the three times ADR. In this case, this red line here, that 3 times ADR, and then shift is the 20, the green line, right? So these specifications, you can leave it alone unless you really know what you're doing. Don't touch it, okay? Shift from point B, it just means that, if the trade does happen to go back down here, how low should it be to this peak before the EA shouldn't take the trade? So, for example, if this is, let's say, 0 and it goes all the way down to about this length here, it's not gonna take the trade. But if it's like, let's say, 25 and then it goes to, like, let's say, 70, then it'll still enter the trade. It's basically saying how low to the previous peak should the trade be before it ignores that the trade. So for me, I have it set to 10. So if it's 10 pips away from this previous low, I'm saying ignore the trade because it could be another peak that's forming and this candles end up going way below this structure. Okay. All right. Okay. So going again from top to bottom here. I know I jumped a little bit. So that's the auto, right? Auto will do that. I've found though in testing, I tend to I trade much better just using the manual rather than the auto, right? But I do have the set file for the EA working on auto for Euro USD. So that one, I took time to just kind of tweak it to working for Euro USD, so you can have the set file for that as well. I include that in the zip file if you want to use that on automation. But the rest, I'd say use it on semi-automation, where you're clicking whether you're looking for a buy or a sell, and then during the night, in the morning, like London time, New York time, is going to be looking for those M's and W's when you give it the direction. Right, so you give it the low direction to say look for the W, give it the high direction to say look for the M. All right, so again, I'll show you this in the strategy tester so that you can see what I mean. Okay. All right. So next we get into just like like the money management part of it. So maximum trades here, just one just means that only take one trade at a time. And then if you set it to like three, it could take like, and let's say you have the EA loaded on different pairs, then it could take three trades at a time. So one on each of the different pairs. Okay. Yeah, so that specifies the maximum trades at any given time. Lot size, you can specify the lot size here. And the risk, don't just leave this alone. I don't touch that. But yeah, you can specify the lot size, the take profit, and the stop loss. But what I like to do is specify the risk in money. So if I put like $10 and I put the stop loss, it'll automatically calculate the lot size. So you don't even have to put the lot size. Just put true for risk in money, leave that as true, and put the amount of money that you want to risk. So let's say it's $10, can just change that to 10. If it's 5, if it's $1, you can change that to 1, whatever it is, okay, that you're risking for your account. Risk in Martingale, unless you understand what Martingale is, don't touch this part, okay? But in simple terms, it's just a way to recuperate your losses by doubling the trade size. So if you don't understand what Martingale is, don't touch it, right? Because that one is not always safe to use. So this one here, it's a pretty neat feature that if the trade is not in, let's say in this case, 2 hours, if it's not in profit by 15 pips or more, then it automatically closes the trade if this is true. Okay, but I left it at false. If you want to use this, like, this is really for like those trades that like it's like 2 hours and the trade still hasn't moved. If it hasn't moved in profits by 2 hours, likelihood is that it may not move into profits. So you could use a setting, but you just turn that to true if you want to use that and define like the number of pips. Default is 15 pips. So if it hasn't moved in 15 pips or more in 2 hours, then it closes this trade. Okay. Pips below and above the structure. So this it's a pretty cool thing. So by default it's set to true and it's set to 7, but you can change it if you want. Like for the higher pairs like pound New Zealand, you might want to maybe move it up to like 12 or 15 because they tend to be higher in size. But pretty much what this is that once it sees an M, so let's say let me just give you an example. let's say we see this M here, right? And it's placed in this trade and it enters after the confirmation of, sorry, let me just quickly change this to a not array. Okay, so let's say the EA enters this trade right here. It's going to put the stop loss X pips above the high of this um, structure or second leg. Okay, so that's pretty much what it's saying right there. Um, once when it enters, the stop loss would go X pips above the structure. Okay, so that's what that particular feature is. This one right here. Yeah. So 7 pips above the structure in this case, right? If you make it 10 pips, it'll be 10 pips above. If you make it 25, it'll be 25 pips above the structure. So whatever you want to specify, the default is 7. Sorry, I'll talk about Martingale, I guess, for the people that are interested in it. If you turn this to true, it'll use the Martingale, and it's you could set it to either the account size or the account percentage. So if you specify like a dollar amount. Let's say you want to, use $100 for the Martingale. You can specify the step 7. It'll do the calculation if you specify the factor of Martingale. So 2 meaning that it doubles every time until you get to step 7. And then it won't go any further than that. But this is pretty much, hopefully, self-explanatory. You can either use account percentage or you can use amount. Amounts, let's say you have a $500 account and you can specify $100 to be used as Martingale, then it will only use 100. But if you want to use the full amount, you can either specify $500 here, or you can just specify account percentage and say use 100% in steps of 7. So then it'll start with, like, let's say $1, then $3, then $6, then $12, then 24, and yeah, so that's pretty much what Martingale is. Yeah, so if you don't know how to use it, don't use it. Uh, where was I? Yeah, magic number, you can just leave that alone. It's fine. If you're running the EA on multiple charts, keep all the same magic number so that if you specify the number of trades, it doesn't clash into each other. If you specify one, it'll only take one trade. Otherwise, if the magic number is different, then it'll treat it as its own separate kind of trade. So just keep it all the same magic number if you're using on multiple charts. All right, then we get into trade manager. Okay. Um, So I'll talk about this first, then I'll go up and talk about this. So break even trigger. If you don't know what that is just if you leave this if you want to use it, set it to true, and it just says if the trade is, let's say, 44 pips in profit, move my stop loss to 17 pips, right? So that's just a trade management kind of thing, just to make sure that you secure some profits. Trailing stop works similarly, but if you want to use it, again, set it to true, and you can specify the trailing stop trigger. At what point should the trailing stop kick in? So, for example, if I say 67, when the trade is 67 pips in profit, my stop loss will trail by 10. So my stop loss would be at 57. Okay. When the trade is 77 pips, my stop loss would be at 67. So it kind of trails behind it. That's what trailing stop does. And then this one is pretty unique. I haven't really seen anybody using this, but it's use move um, take profit. So for these spikes that happen, what it does is when your trade is, let's say, 5 pips to the take profit that you specified, it will actually move the take profit a little bit lower. Is thereby helping you to catch those big momentum moves where the candle just shoots straight down. So that's really what it is. But if you're gonna use the move take profit, use it in combination with a trailing stop. Okay, because you want to be able to trail your stop loss behind it. So just keep it close. Okay, so basically saying, let's say your target TP was 75 pips. When your trade hits 70 pips, it's going to move the TP, your take profit, to 80 pips. Sorry, if it was 75 pips take profit, when your trade hits to 70 pips, it's going to move it to 85 pips. So 10 pips away from your original take profit. Um, and then you could trail your stop loss behind it and say, okay, when my stop loss hits 70, then trail by 10, right? So that as you're moving up, the take profit is moving up, so you're capturing more profits. Your trailing stop is following right behind, so so that if it shifts the other way, you're protected there. Okay. All right. Yep. And then MA period is 13, so it uses the 13 moving average for the confirmation of the trade, the M's and W's. Exponential. So don't touch none of this. This part here, don't touch. Okay, leave that alone. And then this AFP settings is what I explained originally already in terms of if it's using like the auto then this is what the auto logic is based on in terms of determining when the trend direction has shifted, and then it'll enter either an M or W depending on where that trend is heading. But like I said, I prefer to do it manually. So if I know that the trend is going down, I can then specify PF high. If I know that the trend is going up, I can specify take buys. So specify PF low. Okay, so that's in a nutshell. That's pretty much the settings of the entire EA. Okay. All right. So I think I'll split the video and I will make another video just showing me using the EA and the strategy tester so that you can see how all of this comes together. All right. If you have any questions, ping me on Telegram. And if you're interested in getting the EA, message me on Telegram, and then I can just explain how to get a hold of this EA and use it for yourself. Yeah, you can shoot me a message on Telegram. Okay. All right. Take care, guys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel because I'm gonna make another video just showing how I use the EA in the strategy tester. Okay. All right. Take care. God bless.